Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well, despite having another week without Railgun Tea. Hopefully it comes back soon because I've got a video planned for the next episode of that, so I hope they manage to bring it out soon, but from what I gather it's not going to come back for a while, unfortunately, but we can still hope. And I also want to say thank you for all the views on the Sogita video, which is just fantastic. It got over 1,000 views, so that's really good, and hopefully it's the start of bright things for the channel. This video in particular isn't going to appeal to that many anime fans. This is mainly for the hardcore light novel fans, and it will have some spoilers, I think, so if you don't want to be spoiled about the index light novels, then click off this video. But this video was requested by someone on Facebook, and I think by some other people as well, and I enjoy talking about these types of concepts, so here we go, basically. I also made a blog about this on Amino. If you don't know, I'm on Toaru Amino, which is a social media site where you can talk to fans of certain things, and I'm on the Toaru one, so if you want to talk to other Index fans, it's really good. I recommend joining it. So that's an option. So we'll get straight into the video. What I'll be talking about is what are the trees, and I don't mean like trees which grow vegetation and, you know, have wood and everything. I'm talking about these tree concepts found in the Kabbalic system. And these trees basically confused a lot of people in the recent volumes of Index. A lot of people don't know what the hell the characters are talking about at times when he mentioned like the Sephiroth or the Tree of Life or the Clip-Off and now the Clonoth. It's confused a lot of people what exactly these characters are talking about. But if you dig deeper into what Kamachi is trying to say about this, like Kamachi takes inspiration from, you know, different belief systems and concepts, especially when it comes to the magic side. So he's clearly heavily inspired by, you know, the work of Aleister, since Aleister and, you know, like the Abyss of Sephiroth are closely linked in real world history. And that became a lot more clearer after delving into that. It became much more easier to understand, for me at least. So what is the Tree of Life? The Tree of Life, or also known as the Tree of Sephiroth, it's actually first referenced in Old Testament 4, where Chimikado explains like where angels are on this Tree of Life, and it basically determines like the ranking of all beings in existence. So depending you where you are on the Tree of Life, like the higher you up, the more divine you are. So if you get to Keter, that basically means you're a god, which is the highest Sephiroth, or the sphere, since the Tree of Life has 10 spheres known as Sephiroths or Sephiroth, and these 10 spheres are connected by 22 paths. So the highest Sephiroth or Sephiroth is Keter, and the lowest is Malkut, I think. I don't know how to pronounce it. And Aleister Crowley actually got to, I think it was the third or fourth Sephiroth. I get confused. As Coronzon said that to him. So it's basically just a concept that governs all beings in existence, and beings can climb the tree, but there is a limit to how far they can climb. And if you look at the top half of the sphere, you'll notice there's a gap, and this is known as Da'at, also known as the Abyss of Sephiroth, and this is where Coronzon lurks. So the Abyss of Sephiroth's kind of described like a void, and this is consistent since Coronzon herself had to create her physical body to appear in the physical world, and she did that by climbing down the tree. So Coronzon originally was in the Abyss of Sephiroth prior to entering and being summoned into our physical world, but she needs a vessel, a physical vessel, so she made that. Or as when Mavis summoned her, she hid herself into a piece of parchment so she can actually make objects her vessel as well. And the Da'at, that links all the spheres together. So as a being of Da'at, she can ascend to any part of the tree she wants. So she can either make herself super powerful or super weak. And to appear in the physical world, she has to weaken herself. Since I think the actual physical world cannot contain her actual form in, when she's at the sphere of Keter. So in order to actually, like she was in the abyss and she needed to destroy the physical world because that was her goal. She felt like she needed to destroy all the phases. So she'll go into the physical world and weaken herself in order to do that, since I don't think she can interact with it in her strongest form. It's kind of confusing, but that's how I interpret it, at least. And it's weird because Coronzon is a demon, and yet she's not in a clip-off, which is the Tree of Evil. The Tree of Evil determines the rankings of demons instead of like non-demons, like angels and humans. It's because she's also known as like an angel of Da'at and Zax, I think, which is interesting since she is a demon. So Coronzon is like the exception among demons. Like she is like basically the guardian of the Tree of Life itself. And when she uses the Flaming Sword technique, she uses power all the way from Keter down the tree into the physical world. So that's why Flaming Sword is so strong. That's why it's stronger than Gungnir. Also, in real life, or well, I say real life, but when it comes to like the Aleister Crowley magic in real life, well, it wasn't really, but you get what I mean. When it comes to like the magic practices he did, there was a thing called the Aethers, which are like tests to like ascend a tree. And once you get to the Aether known as Zax, that is when you encounter Coronzon and you attempt to cross the abyss. So what does it mean to cross the abyss? It basically means to get the power of Da'at. So all the spheres, all the Sephiraz. God, I'll keep getting that wrong. I can't say it for shit. Da'at itself means knowledge or understanding. So by crossing the abyss, you have knowledge of the entire tree, which makes you pretty powerful, and it's kind of useful for Accelerator in particular, who eventually does cross the tree, or the abyss, I should say, thanks to the help of the Misaka network, which comes the third artificial tree, Clonoth, and Clipper Puzzle, who had the knowledge of Coronzon and the tree of Clipoff. And this helped him be able to enter Da'at, which makes him pretty fucking strong. I mean, we haven't seen how strong he potentially is, but he dealt with Coronzon pretty easily, even though she was distracted by Aleister and Mina at the time, and of course Lilith. So that's what it means when you cross the abyss, and that was basically the goal of Aleister, but he was never able to do it until he got the body of Coronzon. But that's a different story entirely. And back to the Tree of Evil. Yeah, as I said, there's not much we can gather out of it. We know that Clipper is like linked to the Tree of Evil because she's a demon, and that Aleister actually managed to destroy like the 10 spheres of the Tree of Evil itself, which was pretty impressive. But Clipper was still able to survive. The reason why Clipper is so strong, I think, is because she was created by Coronzon, and Coronzon is one of the strongest beings in the series, at least at full power. And apart from that, we don't really know much about Clonoth. The Clipoff. God, these trees. I hate these trees. They all sound the same. Yeah, we don't know much about the Clipoff, simply because it hasn't been elaborated as much as the Sephiroth. However, it kind of is linked to like the negative emotions, but that doesn't always mean it's always immoral to use, apparently, to gather power from that concept. So yeah, I hope I explained this semi-competently. it's quite hard to explain, and I'm not going to go into all the details. I mean, if you're more curious about these concepts, you can basically just Google the Abyss of Sephiroth or the Tree of Sephiroth or Coronzon or any of these concepts or Zax, and it's pretty dense material. It's kind of hard to understand. Hopefully this has cleared it up somewhat, but still I recommend doing it since it was kind of enlightening to me to get what they were talking about. I mean, when it comes to like the real world magic kind of shit, it's more to do with the mind, and the Abyss is like centered in the mind itself, and that's how Coronzon gets into your mind and basically possesses you. But in Index, it's kind of like an actual void separate from the physical world and the phases. That's how Coronzon was able to, exist in the first place. But since she was in a void, does she really exist at all? Like, it's, yeah. We're not going to go into that. That's way too confusing. Alright, thanks for watching. Hope this helped, and see you in the next video. The next video will be on something to do with the anime, and it's more accessible for casual fans, so hope you enjoy. See ya.